There is a story of Guru Nanak Dev Ji where they couldn't find him for a while. And in the end, somebody had said to the family members that we've seen that young boy Nanak, he's sitting in the crematorium amongst all the bodies that are being burnt, he's sitting there. And when they went to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and they said, why on earth are you sitting here? He said, eventually I'm going to end up here, and rather than having 4 people carry my body, I thought I'd bring myself here anyway. Guru Nanak Dev Ji had complete acceptance that he was going to die, even from a young age. He had no attachment to himself. In fact, death is a meditation. To know death, to embrace death, is a meditation. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji was so comfortable with death that this is the way that he has taught us. So yes, during Guru Nanak Dev Ji's times there were also Muslims, and the Muslims were also practicing the Abrahamic tradition of burial. There's a story of the passing of Bhai Mardana Ji, and again we can debate about whether these stories are real or not and what the authenticity of it is, but I think the message that we get from the stories is sometimes more important. Bhai Mardana Ji is on his deathbed, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that you are of the Muslim tradition, tell me, what is your request? Would you like to be buried or would you like to be cremated? And Bhai Mardana Ji says that the only request that I have is that when I die, I remain at your feet, that my soul remains at your feet, that I do not lose my connection with you. So Bhai Mardana Ji again demonstrates that he has no attachment to his body, even though he comes from a Muslim tradition. We look at the story of Kabir Ji's death and the story of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's death, it is identical. When Kabir Ji was about to die, the Muslim followers said, we will bury you. The Hindu followers said that we will cremate you. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji passed away, exactly the same story. The stories are identical, that when they passed away, they were covered with a sheet. When the sheet was uncovered, there was just flowers that remained. The same story is for Kabir Ji as well as Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Half of those were buried and half of those were cremated. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji's original burial site still remains in Pakistan. And there you see a tomb which has 2 parts to it. One that says this is where the flowers were cremated, and right next to it, this is where they were buried. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji demonstrates in life and death that he is above these rituals. It doesn't make any difference what you do. Now, there is a reason why we have a certain practice that says that we will not allow ourselves to get attached and allow others to get attached. But the reality is that the spiritual person is completely indifferent to what happens to his body. Out of his own benevolence for his own family, he will say that, cremate my body because I don't want you to have any attachments. But if a spiritual person has been buried, they are beyond their body. There are countless spiritual Sufis, countless spiritual Muslims, countless spiritual Jews who have been buried upon their death. But their spiritual level has meant that they have overcome their bodies. So whether you cremate or whether you bury the bodies is really irrelevant. It's really about what is your state of mind. Are you attached or are you not attached?